Hey everyone, so I'm putting this video together because I've had a few requests, people asking about this kind of monstrosity of a battery I put together for the Parrot Disco last year, in this little like honeycomb configuration, and it fits pretty good into the Disco without a lot of serious doing surgery on it, that sort of thing. So I've had, like I say, a few inquiries about that, and so I thought I would do a video with these new cells I got a hold of, these vape cells that are supposed to be 6,000 milliamp hours. They seem to be from all the testing I've read up on, so I figured that'd be pretty cool because that should doing this the 3S2P setup give you about 12,000 milliamp hours. So that's a 2,000 more than the last one. Plus, these are a little higher amperage rating cells too. So figured these would be a good one to work with. So anyway, to start out with, as you can see on the old one, it's pretty straightforward, really. These aren't really that complicated to put together. You're just going to want to get your cells, start lining them up here. Also, for reference, I have these little insulator guys that go on the positive end of the terminal. I don't know if you necessarily have to have that, but I kind of like it because it gives me a little extra peace of mind once you get the plates on. These are your nickel plates. And these are come in this roll. They're designed at this like angle so you can do the honeycomb shape. I picked up a roll of this nickel plate. It's what was it, 21.8 millimeter, I believe. By the thickness is the 0.15 millimeter. I didn't want to get too big because it's a lot harder to solder or to spot weld with these cheap spot welders, which is what I got. Just one of these cheap. It claims it's 8,000 watt. I don't know if it actually is or not, but picked this up on AliExpress, I think for like $35 or something like that, and it seems to do a decent weld. So anyway, put that out of the way, and like I was saying, you're just going to want to line them up like this. So basically you're starting with your, these are in parallel. Each one of these is considered basically a parallel cell, and you're going to start with this, and your leads are going to basically run through like this in a series to get your 11.1 volts nominal. So yeah, I already pre-cut some of these. Like I say, they come in this this big spool, but I pre-cut them, kind of nip the edges off. And this is a case where you're going to really want to be careful. I learned this the hard way a while back. If you end up punching through the spot weld and hitting over here, you're going to hit the negative part of the battery case and short it out, which is no bueno. So yeah, you got to be real careful getting these lined up just right. And that's the other nice thing about having these pre-made ones versus this old one I did, where it's just like some strips randomly lined up. With this, you can actually use this to line, get these at just the right angle. So, and you have to practice around with the spot welder. I ran it at about the number 4 setting out of 8. Last time I used it, seemed to work pretty good, so that's what I'm going to go with here, I think. This is one of these that has a little pedal. Makes it easier, but like I say, the big thing is making sure you don't punch through. That looks pretty good. And then I just go through and get them just kind of a basic weld on it. And then I'll go through later and do a follow-up couple. Come on. hard to get them just right. That's pretty good right about there, if I can get it to stay. It wants to move on you too once you... Let's just get that kind of lined up there. Yeah, that's good. See, and then you can just get them. My original one, I used packing tape to get it all set, and I don't know, it worked, but it was a little hokey, I think. And the sparking is natural if you haven't used these spot welders before. It's pretty normal. Moved on me. Okay. So you can see once you get that, then it's kind of got your base shape going on there. Let's go through and finish. Do a couple, 3 more spot welds just to make sure it's good. And so now that's lined up pretty good, I'd say. The best thing to do then is just flip this over kind of carefully. And then do the same thing on this back side here. So this is going to be where your negative terminal is going to be here, or your main negative terminal, and then it's going to go through here. That's 1 cell, and 2 cells, and the one we just welded, and then come out here, and this will be the main positive terminal. And also, I got these little guys here cut, and it's kind of just the same thing. This is gonna these are just tying the 2, cells together instead of the actual series connection. This is just, you definitely want to make sure that you don't get your terminal here, your negative here, nicking your positive there, because that'll complete a short circuit then if you do that. Once it's all wrapped up in the shrink wrap, it's, of course, should be pretty safe from having any contact like that, but it's definitely something to watch out for when you're getting these together. Okay, so I'm skipping ahead a little bit here. Ended up being that the place I was soldering, doing the solders and everything, wasn't too conducive to setting the camera up. So no biggie though. It was pretty straightforward. So I'll walk through and show you what I did here. So starting at where we were yesterday, right? Well, I did spot weld a little tab on here to kind of make it easier. I didn't really want to have to try and do this giant solder blob right on top of the battery. I've heard that they can burn because of that and damage the cell, so I didn't do that. Anyway, but yeah, so basically, you start at your first negative terminal, the bottom of the food chain, so to speak, and, put my tail on, put a big old blob of solder there, get it nice and hot, and stick that one on. And then you do the same thing at the far end over here, which is the positive terminal end. Same thing. See, I just put a big blob of solder. On this one, I put the other end of the balance lead on it. You don't necessarily have to. I just did it because there's not a ton of room to work on this. And so on that note, the balance leads, the way they go, obviously your red one is going to go on the positive terminal here. And then if you work your way back from the red one, so the next black one here, you trace that, that's going to go to the negative terminal, the first negative terminal you have coming backwards from the positive. And same thing, I just put a little blob of solder there and drop that guy on there. And then, so the next one, you'll see that one would be then, sorry, I know it's kind of hard to follow, but so you go negative, positive, and then comes back up here. So the second negative back, you're going to put the second balance lead on. And then the last balance lead right here is going to go all the way over here to your final negative terminal. Back pretty much, you know, where this one starts. So, and you could always solder it in there or something like that. It's not a big deal. Other than that, not much different from what I showed on the earlier part of the video. I threw a little packing tape on this just to kind of reinforce it. It's a little wobbly. But other than that, oh yeah, and a zip tie just to kind of tie that together. Other than that, that's it. It's all ready to go. I'm just gonna get some shrink wrap on it here. Okay, so final scene here. You can see, obviously I did some surgery on the disco. This is from back with my other pack, to get it to where it fits clean. Basically, I ended up, I think I took the bottom off actually, and then, you know, did some cutting here. Obviously, before, you probably remember it's like this. It's the original. Then I think I just used a soldering iron to actually kind of burn some of this off, and it fit pretty good. This new one, it fits in pretty good. It's slightly tighter fit than the other one. Part of that I think could just be because it's the cells are slightly bigger too, but that's how it goes in. It's pretty much the same as the other one. And powered up. Yep. Seems to power up good. It's going to need a good charge before I try and fly it or anything, but and if it's done right, there should still be room for my little GPS tracker that I put in there or in here, wherever it fits. And yeah, so that's it. That's how to make a 12,000 milliamp hour battery pack for the Parrot Disco. And like I said earlier, you know, pretty much all the materials I'm going to have listed in the description. Some of them, they may not, you know, they may have multiple different choices, but feel free to ask in the comments or that sort of thing if you have any questions along the way if you're trying to build this. All right, thanks.